Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and work another problem. I just want to say quickly that I tried to put 3 problems from section 3.3. One of the students had some concern about that section, and it took me almost 45 minutes to make the video. But for some reason, I guess the YouTube videos, I don't know if they have time limitations, so like almost 2 hours I tried to upload it. Tried once, it gave me error, and then another hour, it gave me error. So I decided to go ahead and just do maybe a shorter videos. That way it'll be easier for me to upload. So I'm going to do, I already posted one problem from 3.3 for your, on your Blackboard. So this is going to be another problem from section section 3.3. Section 3.3. So the last video asked you to find zeros from the function, and in this video I'm going to do the next group of problem, which is the opposite. This time they'll give you the zeros and some condition. They want you to find the function. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on problem number. I start with number 53. This is section 3.3, number 53. Okay. So let me read the question quickly. It says to find a polynomial function f of x of degree 3 with real coefficients that satisfy the given conditions. Okay, so we want to find a 3rd degree polynomial function that satisfies the given conditions. So here are the conditions for this function. They say the zeros are zeros of -3, 1, and 4. And then they also give us a condition, and I'll tell you in a minute why we need that condition at the very end, that the f of 2 equals 30. Okay, so f of 2 equals to 30. So that's what we're given. Our job is to come up with a function. So if you remember the connection between the zeros and factors, so our first step is to write the name of the function. Now we're going to put a letter A. This A is going to be what we're going to have to find. It's going to be a number that is going to go in front of all of our factors. And that's what this condition is all about, to help you find that A, letter A, which we do in a minute. Our first zero is -3. So our first factor for this function is x plus 3. Remember, the factor is always x minus the 0. So minus of a minus makes that a plus. The next 0, of course, is 1. So the next factor would be x minus 1. And the last 0 is 4. So our last factor would be x minus 4. Okay, so this is what your function looks like. The first step is to find the A. So you don't want to distribute these until you find the A first. That's easier. We're going to use that condition to help us to find A. So what that condition says, f evaluated at 2 is 30, which means f of 2, except I'm going to put the 30 on the left-hand side. So we have 30 equals to f of 2, but then on the other hand, f of x is all of this. Except now, because x is 2, we're going to replace all the x's with 2 on the right-hand side. So that tells you A times 2 plus 3, 2 minus 1, times 2 minus 4. So as you can see, and now, by the way, we don't need f of 2 anymore. I just needed to get 30 from it. So once we have 30, I'm going to bring down the 30 from the left-hand side. You don't have to write f of 2 anymore. On the right-hand side, we're going to reduce these numbers. A times 2 plus 3, which is 5. 2 minus 1, which is 1, and 2 minus 4, which is -2. So as you multiply the numbers, 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2, of course, is -10. So you have on the right-hand side 8 times -10, and on the left, of course, you still have 30. Now to solve for A, we need to remove the product, the factor -10, so we'll divide both sides by -10 to remove the -10 from the right-hand side. So now we have A. And of course, 30 over -10 is -3. So we just found our A in this problem. Okay? All right, so now once you find the A, you're going to take the value for A, which is -3. You're going to put it up there, and then, of course, you start doing all your FOIL method first, and then distribute that by the last factor. Okay? So let me go ahead and take this stuff off here. I'm going to go ahead and replace A with -3 up here, and then we're going to start doing our basic algebra to get our final, because they always want the final answer in general form, not in factor form. So we're going to have to multiply all these factors together, okay? So this is your first step, to use this condition to find the number that has to go in front. In this case, we call it little a. And in this example, because of that condition, we found it to be -3, okay? So that's your A. I'm going to just box that for a minute. And then now we're going to use that value up here and then work everything out so we can get the final answer. Okay, so what I like to do, I like to go ahead and put the value of a in place of it. I'm going to start multiplying these two already by FOIL's method. So it says x times x, which becomes x squared. X times negative 1, which is negative x. 3 times x, which is 3x. And 3 times negative 1, which is negative 3. Don't forget you still have the last factor, so keep writing that until you distribute by it, okay? X minus 4. Okay, so now we're going to combine these two terms inside, which is going to be x squared minus x plus 3x adds up to be 2x, and everything else is still there. So for our next step, we're going to take every term here. This is what they call distributive property. We're going to multiply by every term in the last factor. Okay, so let me take the a off. Now we're going to go ahead and write that as negative 3 times. So x squared times x becomes x cubed. X squared times negative 4 becomes negative 4x squared. Then you go to 2x. Next term, 2x times x becomes 2x squared. 2x times negative 4 becomes negative 8. Oops. And finally, we go to our last term. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 4 become positive 12. So let me just move this over a little bit so you can see it better. Okay, so if you see any more like terms inside, you combine. I do see some like terms, so we're still going to have negative 3 here in front. X cubed will remain the same. Negative 4x squared plus 2 more will give you negative 2x squared. Negative so 2x, this is negative 8x actually. 2x times negative 4 is negative 8x. I forgot my x here, sorry. And then minus 3x. Okay, and of course, negative 8x minus 3x becomes minus 11x. And you still have the plus 12. Okay, so our last step, now we remove the parentheses by distributing negative 3 by all the terms, and that should be our final answer. So let me see if I have enough room to show it here. So that's going to be negative 3x cubed as you distribute the negative 3 by every term. Then negative 3 times negative 2x squared become positive 6x squared. Negative 3 times negative 11x become positive 33x. And finally, negative 3 times 12 become negative 36. And this should be your third degree function that satisfies the given conditions, okay? So let me just pause for a second. Make sure you can see the whole thing. Sorry. And that is your final answer. So there is your third degree function that satisfies this condition. Okay, I'm going to do one more problem. That one is give us little different condition. I believe they talk about multiplicity, but they want the same thing, the same question. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here on this one. So hopefully it won't be too long. And then I'll go ahead and give you another problem in the next video. Thank you.